Hello and welcome. Tuesday noon. Last night, I sat with the question because we didn't get to have our chat on Monday. What are we going to talk about? And what came was, how are we experiencing Earth? And I'm going to hand it over to Marianne.
Oh, thank you, Corinna. Hello. Oh, Corinna, yes, we didn't had the chance to have our chat yesterday, but nevertheless, we always have something to talk about.
Yeah.
But in this case, for today, for our life now, what came up for me was, yeah, you are about to go on a trip to explore nature in a different way. And
Mm-hmm.
always when we have conversations or when you speak about it, the energies are that I can perceive and receive from the conversations you have about the ideas about what it can be, not shall be, have to be, but the possibilities. And it's also always for me receiving a lightness in that. And as though it is coming closer to get
Mm-hmm.
off the trip, I had that idea. Why not speaking a little about this different way of exploring nature? And also, perhaps, I'm curious, can you tell a little bit more about the idea that brought you here to start a trip for several months?
Uh,
Sorry, I got you.
no, it's okay. It was more, where the heck do I start? I mean, being coming from Europe, the fact that there is one road that goes, Highway 50, that goes basically from the West Coast to the East Coast, or you can drive it the other way. Um, but that always had fascinated me. And I I had so many requirements that I felt I needed to have in my life, that there wasn't really the space to do a trip like that. And that has changed. And I don't know if it was just this year, this last year, over the past few years, and it doesn't matter. But for instance, one thing that was always important was for me to have a home base.
Mhm.
And so the fact to have no home base uh, is interesting.
Wow. This brings directly for me an energy I can pick up because you are speaking the home base as though I can relate to the energy of home base because I'm living in another country than where my children and grandchildren living, and that home base energy was some but took me the most time to not to get rid of it, but to become clear. What is that truly?
Yeah.
Even though now, when you touch that energy of the home base and you are going on a trip, Earth will even more than ever being your home base. So, yeah, what is that
Yeah, it was
bringing up for you?
when I told a friend when the idea came, and I told her, I says, I'm going to be homeless. And she just said, no. Let me rephrase that. You're going to be houseless
Yes.
because I'm putting everything in storage. But I'm not really, when I looked at it afterwards, I'm not homeless.
Yeah.
Earth is my home.
Yeah.
And I can choose to be at home wherever I am right now.
Yeah.
And that doesn't require a house, that doesn't require a fixed place to come back to. I have
No.
absolutely no clue where am I going to live when I'm
Yeah.
done traveling, because I'm
Yeah.
putting everything in storage.
Yeah. And this, Corinna, it's houseless. It's not homeless,
Yeah.
as the earth is your home.
Mm-hmm.
And everywhere you go, you are home. And that is something I had my whole life. Wherever I go, even it was visiting a family or a friend, where I was, I always had that sense of being home. Nevertheless, it's in this minute I can acknowledge that, oh, the sense of sensing home everywhere I'm going, what what if that was really my communion with the earth I never
Mm-hmm.
acknowledged before?
See, for me, I've spent
Wow.
a lot of time in one area. And even now, years later, when I drive through that area, there is a connection. And it's as if the land is welcoming me back, coming for a visit.
Mm,
And that is different because where I'm going now, it's really, instead of being in my head and analyzing and cognitizing that earth is my home, da 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 da, it's more about being willing to perceive the energy of the land. And what I'm curious about is, how is the energy of the land shifting as I drive across? Is the desert, of Nevada, gonna feel the energy feel
mm,
different than maybe an area in the Midwest
yeah,
or on the East Coast?
yeah,
So that is what my curiosity is all about now, to just experience the energy of the earth, and to receive
yeah.
what the earth has to gift me and what the earth is teaching me.
And what can you learn through your body
Mhm.
about all those different energies? And what can you discover even in which way your body always communicated and you never got it, or you never acknowledged it, but
Yeah.
because you will be on the road,
Mhm.
what is there possible to, oh wow, to receive?
And it's also the other thing that I realized just maybe last week, and I said, "Whoa, I'm really going to be out of control." On some level, I'm a control freak. I like to know how my week next week is going to look like, how my day is going to look like, da 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 da. Uh, there is no way I can do that.
Yeah.
Or, no, actually, I could do that. Let's be honest. I could be in control and say, I follow the guidebook that I have, and I will stay in that hotel that they recommend and eat at the restaurant and stop at that. But that's not what's appealing to me.
No.
It's really just being in the moment
Yeah.
and
And can I
experiencing.
touch on something, because
Uh-huh.
that energy comes in now, as a little before we came on live, we had a little conversation and we touched about the things we horn as though as special as they come from my parents, my grandparents. It's like we spoke about those wine glasses and the beautiful stuff we have. And yeah, it's sitting there and we didn't use it because whatever reason we give it.
Mhm.
as though the beauty nature is, always is, the changes, it's beauty of the changes, earth.
Mhm.
There is so much in receiving, and yeah, we can't control nature. So we can't put nature in the closet or in a corner or in the garage or whatever we want to do. It's not possible to harm anything of nature. Nevertheless, we are we were growing up with hoarding things, putting things aside for a certain day, a certain time, a certain way. And now you are going through all your stuff because you have to empty your house. How much is there you receive from all those pieces, whatever they were? As there is an energy in this green. What happened, or what it looks like that there was a lot going on in, yeah, having them in your hands and then putting them in boxes, or because you became clear also as how many things you had in your house not used by you, so nor receiving with your body from it, nor, yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, as you know, as I know, both coming from Europe, there was that idea. I don't know if it still is, but you had things for a special day. You had clothing for a special day, you had dishes for a special day. You had your everyday stuff, and then you had the things that, yeah, if you were working in the yard, cleaning the house, then, you would wear, for instance, special clothing that had down degraded, so to
Yeah.
speak. I mean, it was still
Oh,
good, but
oh,
it was
yeah.
not as nice anymore.
Yeah.
And it was really funny for me to realize how much I held on to certain things uh, just because of that generic idea. And I said, okay. I mean, it was still good clothing,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm just donating it. I'm letting
Yeah.
go of it. I mean, yeah, maybe there is the one or this other truly special thing, uh, but what if I use everything every
Yeah.
every day, depending on what kind of a weather it is, what my body would like to wear,
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah.
things like that, but not, oh, I'm working in the house, therefore I'm going into this pile.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. But I grew up in that way also. And even now, when you say donating and perceiving the energy, the clothing you donated, how happy it is. And
Mhm.
all those bodies who will and can and choose
Yeah.
to wear them, they are happy also. That's the energy I got truly when I came from Belgium to Portugal. I donated a lot and I left a lot behind also, but it was really like it's sitting there and it's not receiving. It's not, it's like, yeah, everything is energy and everything is
Mhm.
alive, even though we think that a cup isn't alive. But yeah, it it loves to contribute to our bodies, and we are the ones who separate everything, as though you as I can remember also when it was my time to get a new dress or something, a new jacket or whatever it was, something new, even shoes. I was always so happy and I wanted to wear immediately. but it drove my mom crazy. But I wasn't allowed. It was no. Now the new one is for the Sunday or for some
Special day.
special day. And the greed, the even good things, but not that good anymore. Or, yeah, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Those things you have to wear now. And I never got it. I never got it. And yeah, isn't it crazy that we are longing for new things? We are longing for that happiness also, to,
Mhm.
to be that happiness. Nevertheless, we didn't choose it. We didn't learn it, that it was a choice to go with that happiness. So here, what are the possibilities now for you in, in this period of emptying your house, being with everything and letting go of stuff? How much more can you now even receive from those things you are letting go of?
It's that to some extent, but what I'm almost perceiving is, for instance, because you mentioned the wine glasses, I had my everyday wine glasses and I had my special wine glasses. I donated my everyday wine glasses because that would force me in a way, or trick me into, or invite me, however you want to call it, to actually use the other ones. And using the other ones will be a contribution
Yeah,
when
yeah,
I come back. And
yeah,
it's the same way. Uh, and most of the things, yeah, it may not be the cheapest to replace it, but most of the things can be replaced.
yeah,
So,
actually.
what if something breaks? What if a clothing uh, gets a small tear, or can, uh, do I have to then hold on to it? Because now, with having the tear, it would, according to how I grew up, become everyday clothing
Yeah,
that I'm wearing around the house. But how will my body feel?
yeah. And
How will
also
everyone
that's replacing, Corinna, or what brought up for me was like, yeah, and in nature, when there is a storm and trees, there are breaking off parts
branches
of the
top?
trees,
Yeah.
and the tree doesn't horn, the tree let it go and will be whatever is required to go with what then is required for the tree. It's so beautiful. Nature is showing us there is never lack, never lack,
Yeah.
never,
That,
never in
that
any way.
is a big thing. And what if
Yeah,
the tree, the t- what if the tree is happy to be worm food now? Because
yeah,
it's on the ground and it will decay and nourish, feed
yeah,
the worms, nourish the earth, put the nutrients back into the earth,
yeah.
all those things. And how
As
much,
you see with those clothes you donate, you can see it as the part that as the tree with what's breaking off going, creating a new
yeah.
life, a new way of being, but also with clothes we donate, with dishes we donate, with everything. It can create something new for the person who goes with that.
Mhm.
But we grow up with, when you let go of something, it looks like you let go. It doesn't exist any longer. It and that's a big lie. Even a broken glass, a broken dishes, it creates something different.
You could break them even more and make a mosaic out of it.
For example, for
Yeah.
example. and even recycling into something different.
Yeah.
I'm really curious, Corinna, what stories you you would have to tell us, what insights.
I am curious too.
And nevertheless, the pre-preparations of yeah, what you have to go now, it's something you have to do. It is required. You have to empty your house, and it's a lot of work. So yeah, your body perhaps isn't not always that happy now in this moment with the more heavy stuff you have to do. But hey, even now, what if
there,
it
there
doesn't
is
have to be heavy?
uh, my body is tired from all the lifting and packing and
Yes.
boxing it and but there is also, if I'm not telling myself the story, oh, I'm so tired and I can't do that, there is still a lightness,
Yeah.
and there is still excitement, and there is still that uh, not a specific expectation, but more the wonderment of what is that journey going to be
The
like.
wonderment. That's a beautiful energy.
And I am truly, and what am I going to take, and how am I going to go about this, that, and the other? And sometimes I lay in bed, my body being totally tired, but me, the being, going, oh, I could be doing this, and that is a possibility, and there, oh, this is another one, and just and what challenges am I going to face? Because how much, even though I decided to let go of definitions, who I am, how many definitions do I still have? You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. And that's the same for me also. But what I somehow can perceive, could it be? No, and we don't have to define it. Let's go of this. But what if this trip also is the invitation beyond what you ever chose to create,
Mhm.
not even looked at, not even considered that it was possible to create because of that
Yeah,
holding
definition.
on as I'm here, I have my house, I'm settled, I, all those definitions we use as safe, as secure, as whatever,
As hiding.
as hiding, as
You
hiding.
know,
Yes.
I am good company for myself. And because of that, that trip is going to be easy. And I also label myself as an introvert. And if you take this reality as a Myers-Briggs test, I'm coming out quite a bit of an introvert. But am I truly an introvert?
Yeah.
Or can I choose to use those labels? An introvert today, an extrovert in the next hour, or tomorrow, or whatsoever. How much choices do I negate just because of those definitions that I give
Yeah.
myself?
Well, this, Corinna, what you mentioned, you negate, we all negate because of definition. And
Mhm.
speaking about the introvert, there is a similar energy for me. I love my company. I have pretty much ease to be alone, and I love to be by myself. It's like the space and whatever. So I consider myself not sure it will be an introvert, but at least not the social type.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not the one who speaks with everyone, etc.
Yeah.
Nevertheless, when someone comes towards me or I'm aside and they start a conversation, I go with that conversation. I'm not redrawing myself. I'm
Mm-hmm.
going into it. So yeah, there is coming that extrovert part is immediately coming out. Still, I'm not the extrovert, but I can go with all those energies. So yeah, how much do we put aside and not even consider because of definitions?
And to take it even a step further, how much am I willing to start the conversation with somebody else?
Oh yes, that one.
Because that's
Yeah,
the next step. Being
yeah,
talked to and being okay with that is one thing, but you really have to step out of hiding.
yeah,
And let me tell you, I've been, and to some extent still may be, the best kept secret
yeah,
because
yeah,
I'm letting others see me.
yeah.
And
I
how
can
much
relate.
of a gift could that be to let others see me? To both others and me.
Yeah. And this brings up now getting for myself also more because I can relate with that. It is quite selfish to not,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, to not be seen, to not be the
Yeah.
gift you truly are, and is also hoarding. Ah, all I am, all I know, I keep it for me, and it's secret. And then we know we can expand a lot, and we know that we be the ripple effect in the world. We know that. But that's not the same as unhiding and truly being the gift
Being
we are.
seen, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's lately what's becoming more clear. And that unhiding thing, yeah, it's an interesting energy.
Yep.
So in the same way we are unhiding ourselves and we are choosing ways different ways and how can those ways contribute to one to another as though
Yeah.
I'm so grateful. I'm really grateful I met you, even it was aside someone else, but there was something my body was telling about the gift you are, about the earth, the gift you are, I am, we are all with earth. So,
Yeah.
yeah, and I'm glad that I spoke out, even it was still hiding because I hid it myself. You hide it yourself, but in a way, I speak out. I spoke out with you in a
Mm-hmm.
conversation without expectation, without projection or whatever. There was something in the energy we both catched,
Clicked. Yeah.
and we we went and we went and we went and yeah, you see, we are here still with our weekly conversations. So something we are aware of wants to go out. So yeah, what if that is?
Are you aware that we've been doing these conversations, these Facebook Lives now for a year?
Is it already a year?
We
Wow.
started the end of June last year.
Wow, then we have to celebrate, Corinna. Wow, but how beautiful is this? Now you mention it. I wasn't aware really that it is for a year we are doing it. And at the same time, now at the end of 1 year, you are flying out with Earth,
Mm-hmm.
experiencing more communion with you, with
And
yourself, with your body, with the Earth, and unhiding. How beautiful is this?
And the thought just crossed my mind is how much is that trip and what I experienced during that trip going to be a contribution to these conversations?
Absolutely. Absolutely. No
How much
doubt.
fun can it
Yeah.
can
Yeah.
it bring?
No doubt that they will contribute in whatever way it will be. We don't have to define it because we are choosing to go out of definition. And also, because you mentioned control, and I know you are even a greater control freak still than I am, but still there is control. Nevertheless, when I tap into my nature, who I truly am, and then exploring within myself control, then but I'm not control.
Actually, control is, what if the control that we tend to do is a way of being different while also still fitting in? And
That
yet, ultimately, we are totally free flowing beings.
and I love it. I'm enjoying it.
Yeah.
A lot more fun in my reality, a lot more joy, really. And even the days it is intense and it is discomfortable, the joy,
Yeah.
the expanded joy is so much more. And the control, yes, we do it to fit in, to force us. I can speak for myself, to force myself into the definitions of others.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's one thing. And, I'm also aware of how much doing that trip is a reverse tricking myself into.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because now I don't have a choice. As long as I have my usual environment and everything, I can continue the way I've always been, always done, always dealt
Yeah,
with. But how much am I taking that away?
yeah, yeah,
Um,
because in a way you will not know where you will be the next day, where in which bed you will sleep in. Yeah,
or am I going to stay 3 days there, or am I going to move on tomorrow?
yeah, yeah. And
All
how
those things.
beautiful is this?
And that is truly exciting for me.
Yeah. And I admire, really, not admiring of putting you on a pedestal, not that kind of admiring, but there is some energy in that that is so inviting for me
Hmm.
as reflecting for myself. And I've questioned myself, is it something I would choose to go? And there is an excitement in that. So,
Yeah.
yeah, that traveling, that exploring, and I can choose it. It doesn't have to be in the same way, but I can still choose to be out of that control and to allow myself to explore in every second of
Yeah.
my life. Yeah,
Yeah. And to
yeah,
really, deeply experiencing life. I mean, how much I titled today's conversation "Experiencing Earth," and yes, for me, it's part of quote unquote the agenda to experience the energetics of the different parts of the
yeah,
US as I'm driving across. And how much are we not willing to experience because uh, we take our house on wheels with us?
yeah,
And I'm saying this because I had a car that I was driving and doing a lot of trips and travel. And it was my house on wheels because I could
Mhm.
sleep in it. And I
Yeah.
made folded everything, the back seat flat, so I could sleep, and I made a comfortable bed, etc. And how much are we limiting the experience by doing that?
Yeah. But we are so good in limiting ourselves,
Yeah,
isn't
yeah,
it?
yeah.
It it is. We always can find something to limit ourselves.
And how much are we not even aware, or how much are people not even aware of how much they limit themselves by
Yeah.
doing certain things?
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah.
by not step and it doesn't matter what it is. Ultimately it comes down to, am I willing to step outside of my comfort zone?
And also receiving the receiving part, Corinna, because I noticed as we started our conversation before the live, it is your body is tired and there is a certain going down energy, whatever it was from the start. But now seeing your body relaxing,
And
coming
it
in
feels
that
better,
joy,
yes.
and there is so much difference. And this with the willingness to come here with me, to go on the life, because there was a possibility also to choose to not go because of the feelings. I'm not feeling well, I'm feeling run down, or whatever you could have chosen. Nevertheless, you chose to show up, the unhiding and the contribution. This conversation is, for me, at least I can speak, but perceiving also for your body, for my body, and for everyone that will listen this conversation and hearing and receiving and perceiving all the energies we are touching. So how much unhiding is that? Even you are at your home, at in front of the computer.
and
You
and
are going viral. You are going viral worldwide. So yes, there is a kind of unhiding with this.
and I have to admit, I mean, as um, before going live, I had been lugging boxes around, etc., and I was just
Yeah,
and but my first question then was, Earth, can you contribute to me? And it's not just, Earth, can you contribute to me? Earth is absolutely willing to do that. Am I also willing to receive it?
that
You
that
know, and just being willing to receive it is creating a tremendous amount of change.
yeah.
Yeah.
And also for me, Corinna, when I perceived and received the tiredness of your body, it is instantaneously also Earth is there and contributes, and
Yeah.
Earth is present in the conversation because we ask it. And how much do we also refuse by not asking?
By not ask Big time, by not asking, and by using the most prized possession in this reality, meaning the brain, meaning the thinking, meaning
Perhaps it's an idea to put your brain into a box and then you stuck it with and you leave it
I'll
behind.
put it into storage. Okay.
You can always pick it up when you're coming back.
Yeah.
And then it can be so, oh, I survived without you. Thank you. I'm letting you go forever and ever. Thank you.
And it's actually what you said, what that brought up for me is there were a good number of years where I was practicing martial arts, and it was always leave your stuff, leave your issues, whatever is going on at the door. Don't bring it into the studio. You can pick it up if you choose to when you leave.
Yeah. And it's so true.
Yeah.
It's so true. And when we are willing to let it go, even for 10 seconds,
Yep.
because there is a knowing you can always come back. But yeah, most likely
Why
the
would
things we yeah, why would you? Why would you? Yeah, why? So, okay, Corinna,
I?
you
Okay.
you have a lot to do still.
Yes.
So next week we will have our live at this time.
Let's talk about that.
Yeah,
And well,
you will notice.
I'll make
Yeah,
a Facebook
notified this week.
post
Yeah,
if we are live or not,
yeah.
because it's going to be my first travel day.
Oh.
So heading
So,
to the
what
West Coast.
contribution would it be to skip this one life for one
And
week and then
uh,
receive everything?
then I truly will be traveling, because I plan on driving to California
Yeah,
to really fully do, and not just from Colorado.
yeah.
I really want to fully do the
That's
Highway 50. So
and
we'll see.
choosing whatever is kind for your body also.
Yeah.
Don't.
Take care. Bye bye.
Take care. Bye bye.